All right, let's start. What's up, Blueprint family? How y'all doing out there? Thank you all for joining us. Tonight is Friday, Marriage Fit Friday.
Yes.
Made it to the end of the week. As always, we have some more information to give to you all about relationships. So tonight's topic, dating multiple people at once. Is this a good thing? Should you date multiple people at once? So let's dig into the pros and cons of this. We also have a letter from a young lady who's asking questions about dating multiple people. So, honey, do you want to start by reading that?
Sure. Okay. So, should we really date multiple people at once? I'm kind of freaking out right now. I am 30 and been on 3 dates with the guy I really like. But I started to have doubts about his intentions for me after our 3rd date. And I told him, I told my friends about this, and they told me to unpause my hinge and to stop putting all my eggs in one basket. They feel like that's the reason I've been getting hurt a lot because I'll date one person at a time and then get hurt or sad if it doesn't work out. So I took their advice and started chatting and FaceTimed with the new guy. Now he wants to start going on dates with me too. I'm scared. I've never gone on dates with multiple guys around the same time. What if I fall for them both? How will I choose? I already have feelings for the first guy, but I also think I fall for people too fast and I do get hurt easily too. I'm very sensitive and caring, and I also just don't want to hurt anyone's feelings if I reject them at some point. How do people do this? I already feel bad and I haven't even went on a date with the other guy yet. Yeah.
All right, so let's dissect this.
She's 30.
Yeah, she's 30 and she went on 3 dates with this one guy, and then she's starting to have doubts about his intentions for her on the 3rd date. That's right. So she must have asked questions and she threw out the word intentions. Good.
Mhm.
So that's some indication that she does want to progress in this relationship or in a relationship and eventually wants to be a wife.
Mhm.
That's what that information is showing me. And she told her friends are telling her to go out and date multiple people. Now, here's the thing. If she's feeling that way and she doesn't think that the person that she's currently dating is feeling her or has the same intentions that she does, then by all means, I think that, she should more than likely move on. Have a conversation about what his intentions are. And then if it doesn't align with what you're trying to do, then move on. So I think that would be the best thing for her to do instead of going through these feelings that she's currently having.
Yeah, like she's still talking to
Both of
multiple
them.
people. Yeah, it's like she's kind of not knowing how to make a decision and then move forward.
Right.
Yeah. Because if clearly, like you said, and like she said, she thinks the guy's intentions for her are changing. So that's all the more reasons to say, hey, this probably is not the time for me to keep putting more emotions into this relationship. But I understand her friends in the sense of they see her coming to them and she's all distraught over, oh, this isn't working out. So they're just like, oh, well, girl, if you had multiple guys, you wouldn't be all, worried about it. But like you said, that's not really, it's kind of a shift in focus because it's not really what she should directly be focusing on doing. Like, we ain't telling you go out and get multiple, whole bunch of different guys. Like that's not really, successful. And we'll definitely weigh the pros and cons as we go along. But yeah.
Well, I mean, also too, don't get it confused that dating doesn't necessarily means that you're sleeping with multiple people.
Right.
I wouldn't condone that, to be honest with you, because I'm all about minimizing risk. And there's a lot of risks involved when you are sleeping with multiple people.
Right.
But in her case, or anyone's case of anybody who's seriously trying to get married and they realizing that the people that they're dating, their intentions don't align with them. I think it actually makes more sense to one, be clarified on these people's intentions, and then if this person doesn't align with you, then you keep it moving and you go on to date someone else, man or woman. Because what you don't want to do is be in an 8-year situationship with somebody and it still isn't working for you.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is that you find someone that you can actually grow with and start a family with, or get married to when you're dating. Because why else are you all dating? It could be a casual relationship, or something more serious as to wanting to build a relationship until marriage.
Right.
So go ahead.
I do think that her friends kind of did give her in a way to move on, because it did quickly make her go start talking to another guy. But since she's interested in this guy, certainly doesn't mean that now you got to keep adding guys to your roster if that's not her thing, you know? So I think it's just fine for her to keep talking to the one guy that you are talking to and see where that goes. It's actually great that you were able to recognize that, hey, this isn't working out, like my husband said, and moving forward. So yeah, see all in with what is going on with this guy and really get to know him and really see if this is something you can consider. And then if it works out, great. It means you don't have to even consider this dating multiple guy thing.
Right. Let's go to her questions.
Okay. Like, her first one was, what if I fall for them both, and how will I choose?
Well, she needs to be more, she needs to be concise and assertive in her decision. She started off saying that the first guy that she's dating, she's questioning his intentions.
Yeah.
If you're in doubt dealing with somebody, get them to clarify that for you and ask the right questions. Like, do you plan on or getting married? Do you plan on getting married? So she's in her third date with this guy. So they've been together for possibly, or talking for about a month, my guess. So you should be able to know whether or not you're interested in the person that you're dating. And until about 2 to 3 months, you should know whether or not you would possibly continue the relationship and see where it can go.
Yeah.
If she's having doubts after 3 dates with this guy, then, like I said, it's probably time for her to move on. So
yeah.
What was it? Her both? Should she?
Yeah. Well, how would she? What if I fall for them both, and how will I choose?
Right. I think I don't think she is going to fall for them both, being the fact that the first guy she's already experiencing doubts with. Yeah. Maybe the second guy may be actually better. So I would tell her that, you won't know until you actually date the second guy.
Yeah, she seems to be coming off, like you said, kind of insecure within herself, and knowing her ability to say what she wants and what she doesn't want, and being like,
she needs to be assertive.
Okay with that. Yeah. And being okay with that, and even trusting yourself. Really, I think it's great that you recognized, hey, my gut is telling me that maybe this guy isn't as interested in me. Take note of that gut feeling and learn to trust yourself. That's a great thing as a woman in particular, just being able to trust those feelings that you start to get within your body, in the sense of, think about when people say, oh, you get butterflies, it just tells you, oh, you really like that person. Or if you get that heavy feeling in your stomach, it can mean that something, is bad may happen, or whatever the case may be. Different ways that your body can actually pick up on energy that is supposed to help you recognize, kind of like an animal instinct, when energy might be off in a way.
It could be gas, though.
Look, in a way, it's letting you know, hey, you got some discomfort down there. So it could be, yeah, but it's still like all like bodily. It's that communication, and just knowing how to just trust yourself if you feel like, hey, this is probably not, he's probably not that into me. Because a woman should know if a guy is into her.
Right,
like,
yeah,
he should give you
don't
the
be
feels.
that naive.
Yeah, he should give you those feels that, hey, like, I'm into you or whatever. So it's good that you're recognizing that this probably isn't that, and learn to trust yourself, because I really think all these questions are you not trusting yourself.
But she goes on to say, I already have feelings for the first guy, but I also think I fall for people too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I do get hurt easily too. But I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of contradictory, because she was saying that she doesn't think the guy's intentions align. But you see, the thing is this: if his intentions don't align, then you need to really you need to pull those feelings back from
Yeah.
that guy, because you're putting yourself in a position for you to get your feelings hurt.
Yeah.
And that's on you, because you already see red flags in this guy, and those are your cues to either get the clarification and evidence and information that to get the facts that you need
Yep.
to make a exit on
Yep.
this relationship, or either you're going to get the information that you need that makes you want to stay, by him saying that, no, I really want to be with you, you're just something else going on, or whatever the case may be.
Right. Yep. That is so true.
So
that's true.
She really needs to clarify that. And this is the third date. She already got feelings for this guy. She does fall in love fast.
Yeah, maybe a hopeless romantic. Women are more, I think, of course, women, especially if she's 30. So she's really like thinking about family and kids a lot. Yeah. Right. So she's just like, come on, like I'm ready. Like, so I totally understand that. And I totally get that. And that's why I also understand your friend's perspectives of open up all the options that you would have available, so that it's like maximizing in a way the possible outcomes that you could have, because you're dating multiple guys. So I get that part of what they're saying, but again, there are certainly pros and cons to this that I would love we can go ahead and go into this, because I think that's pretty much,
right.
This is kind of.
But I wanted to throw this out there too. She said, "How do people do this?"
Yeah,
you don't have to do this. That's the thing,
right?
She's taking the advice of her friends, telling her to date multiple people. Yeah. She could easily just, dismiss the first guy and just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Or either she can dismiss the idea of dating multiple people and just stick with the guy that she's currently right. talking to, who she has feelings for, right. but think his intentions don't align. Right. So those choices are hers. But I think that the best choice that she can make is to dismiss the first guy, keep it moving, and then see what the second guy may have to offer. She doesn't have to date both guys at the same time.
Right. And dating also does not equate sleeping with the guy.
Right.
Thankfully, she didn't say anything about like the fact that she slept with him or anything. So that's good.
Right. If you're dating multiple people, please don't be sleeping with all of them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, especially, for females, you won't. And if you're sleeping with both of them, then if you have children or become pregnant, then you have another case on your hands on trying to figure out who the father is. Yeah. So I'm all up, like I said before, risk management. You need to look at the situation and reduce your risks, and do things that make sure you do things that you should do, and don't do the things that you should not do. Right.
Yeah. Just to really keep yourself safe in the process.
Practice common sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So the advantages and disadvantages for men and women when it comes to men dating multiple women and women dating multiple men, it varies. They're not necessarily different, because the pros and cons for dating multiple people really goes both ways. But there are different cultural and social factors that really play a part into, I guess, the decision making of whether or not in particular you think that is a good choice for you. Because, for example, some cultures, maybe even the United States now more in particular, but I really think a lot of cultures around the world, it's common for men to date multiple women, because they're more so seen as the pursuers. So they're the ones that's going out and pursuing the relationship. So they're technically supposed to pursue as many women that want to be pursued. So when it comes to dating in that aspect, that's why I guess men get a little more double standard leeway for the idea of just going out here and, talking to multiple women and, all that other stuff. That doesn't make it right, but it's just the cultural.
Well, I mean, and
societal factors.
But think about the but also to be, you got to be honest and fair.
Yeah.
And in this society in America that we live in today, is that a lot of friends and people that I know are saying that it's hard to find good women these days. So that is one of the reasons why men date multiple women, to see which woman best fits his lifestyle and can provide wife services to him, and
Right.
women who understand what that means. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times today you're running into a lot of career women, or women who are working and they're pretty much career first type
Yeah.
women who don't have any wife skills at all, or understand what it means to manage a household. So men, well established men today, are looking for housewives, or either women who understand the wife roles and roles of wives,
Yeah.
and women who are interested in building families with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Dating multiple people certainly does increase your chances of
Chances,
finding a,
or your probability.
yeah, yeah, someone. And I mean, I guess again, it can kind of go both ways, but it's just the stigma around, like, for a woman, she can also
Right.
think the same thing. Like, hey, it may not be that, many potential suitors, men that I like, right? And then so she's trying to date as many as she possibly can, but through like the glasses of like society, sometimes it can come off as promiscuous because they'll think that, oh, she's sleeping with all these guys, where she may not be sleeping with all these guys. So it just really, it again, when you just looking to play all the factors into whether or not this is something you want to take up is really a personal choice. But, we're just bringing you some things to consider. That's really what this is all about, weighing, the pros and the cons, because ultimately the decision is going to be yours. Some men may choose not to even do that, and just wait until they've come across the right woman. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to be players and date a bunch of different women. Same thing for women. So, I think the pressure that really comes with finding a spouse, especially with this woman, with her being 30, it really makes you want to up your ante, I guess, and wanting to find multiple, people to talk to so that you can find a spouse.
Well, like she was saying, was that she was disappointed in her past by the people that she was dating, or the person that
Yeah,
she was dating, because she normally dates one person at a time.
right.
And she's been disappointed by all of them,
Yeah,
evidently.
yeah,
So she has standards of, I guess, of what she's looking for in a husband,
right, which is
and
great.
and she hasn't found those yet.
Yeah,
But I'm hoping that those are realistic expectations that she
yeah,
have too, because that may be leading her to the reason why she hasn't found the right man, because her expectations may not be realistic.
yeah.
So women, you do need to have realistic expectations. Not every man is going to make six figures or be a millionaire or drive a Rolls Royce or whatever the case may be. Of course, we understand that. But and then also too, you may not even find a man who owns his own home at that, or makes enough money to provide for you and allow you to be retired as a housewife. That's just the reality of the situation. Not every woman in America who's married is a housewife, or has the ability, or the fortune, or is fortunate to be one.
Yeah, I
To
think
be honest,
statistically it's like 73% are working
right?
mothers too. Yeah.
So I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. Like, if you're looking for a man to retire you, and you're not finding that, then you need to realize that you really need to find the man who out of those guys is the best man for you. He
Yeah.
treats you right, he respects you, he's a team player, he provides service, meaning that whenever he there's a need of a man around, he actually helps, whether that's
Mhm.
doing yard work or working on your car or whatever the case may be. He steps up, so that may
Yeah.
be the man that you may need to be with, to
Yeah.
be honest with you, because realistically we all can't have it all,
Mhm.
in this lifetime. And I think that's where a lot of women get stuck at, is that they try to be on this race of trying to find the man who has it all,
Yeah.
and that, sometimes they do not cross paths with these people. Same thing with men. I
Yeah.
think men, in this time, day and age, they're looking for a woman who has it all for them. Some men may want women who makes more money than they do, but the realistic situation is that those women may not be looking for you.
Mhm.
But or vice versa. So it it comes down to, if you're happy with that person and then they respect you and you all work together well, more than likely that really is the person that you should be with.
Yeah,
It's,
if you can build on them
right,
too.
right,
One thing too, while you were mentioning her in particular, the woman who wrote in, just that possibly look at if there could be any insecurities that you are projecting onto the man as well. Like, is there, what I mean by that is there any part of this that you could be looking at it from a off standpoint, where you may think that he's not interested in you, but he actually is interested in you, and that maybe you have some feelings of unworthiness, or like, not feeling like you are up to par, or can he just be the potential mate that he's actually looking for. Again, it kind of all goes like to self-esteem. I feel a lot of this seems to be self-esteem with her, just questioning herself. Often when you find somebody questioning themselves, that's a matter of, whether or not you trust yourself or not. So often too, that could be projected. So you never know. Make sure to just really be careful to, like my husband says, really see if this person really could still be interested in you or not interested in you, and then move on in a healthy way within your mind as well. Don't take it as, oh, there's something wrong with me, or, oh, this might not work out, or, because especially when you get older as a woman, I bet if you have not reached the time of being married with kids, it could bring on some feelings of insecurity. And, that's okay to acknowledge, but just really taking the time to give yourself that positive affirmation and that positive talk within your mind as you go into the next dating experience, so you're not projecting those insecurities onto the next man, and in a way it bouncing back as you feeling like, oh, they're not into you, when that really could probably not be the case, and you actually pass up some good guys like you were talking about.
right. Yeah,
Yep.
projecting negativity. You don't want to bring that into any relationship or dating situation, because, like my wife was saying, is that that reflection is ultimately the man feeling negative about you. Maybe
Yeah.
you're not the right one because your attitude stinks, or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. So that is
Yeah.
true.
Well, here are some of the pros and cons that you can weigh when it comes to trying to decide on if you should date multiple people or not. So we're going to just go straight into the pros. One, you can explore your options. So pretty much we kind of hit on this before, but dating multiple people gives you the opportunity to meet more people, learn more about other people, and this will give you an informed decision on whether or not these guys are the one for you. And if you probably should even move your dating wherever you're picking your men from, change that environment as well, because if you're continuously picking the same guys and you're noticing a pattern in who they are, certainly that means you need to start picking men from to allow to court you from different backgrounds or environments, or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Um, and then also too, I do want to say this to all the viewers that's out there. If you all have any questions, by all means, please, you can ask, and you can interrupt us at any time to ask those questions. Also, too, if you have any anonymous questions, you can go to wifeconomics.com/submit a question, and then we will answer those on our next show. But my question is that for people who are dating multiple people, do you think that they should let those other people know that, hey, oh, by the way, I'm
Mm.
actually dating more people other than you? Not necessarily I'm not sleeping with them, but just dating other people. Do you think that that should be disclosed?
I think timing plays a huge part, but I also think gender plays a huge part in that too, because that can be off-putting for some women to tell a guy that. He can see that like, oh, you ain't in, men, y'all like that ego boost of you're the only one that I'm interested in, or like you're captivated by me,
Oh,
like you
I
want to
think
be with
everyone
me.
does, to be honest
Yeah,
with
but
you.
men, y'all do, I think, a lot more than a woman. More so would just focus on that. Like women, in a way, we kind of already by default think that maybe this guy is probably talking to somebody else.
Well,
But a man, their default is, I sure hope she ain't talking to somebody else. You
well,
know?
I mean,
Well, I mean, we both are.
for
But
example, dating dating sites. There's probably 100% chance that if you're on a dating site, you're talking to more than 2 people.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that full disclosure is the honest thing to do, and especially in this day and age, because if you're on a dating website, then of course the assumption is that you're talking to more than one person. Statistics show that.
Right.
I think what for a man is like they're talking to 8 people or something, and then for women is like 2, at least 2 men that they're talking to or something like that.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken. But that is the reality of the situation. So I believe in full disclosure and honesty when it comes to dating, because what it helps you do, it helps you weed out those people that are not willing to try to win you over.
So would you say how many?
I mean, if they ask, you got to be honest. But I mean, I'm a man, so I think that men probably do have more options because men choose relationship. We are the ones who put the rings on fingers and propose. So I think that's, like you said, there is a double standard to that, and there's a safety net for men in that aspect. But for women, if a woman was to say that, you're not the only person that I'm talking to, but for that guy, if that guy is really in head over heels about this woman, he would more than likely try his best to win her over.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like if
head over heels. Yeah, sure.
If he loves the way she looks, and the only thing is that how much of a wife, while dating, I guess for multiple months, will she exhibit to this man if she's dating multiple men?
Right.
That's the hard part. And I don't think that women are some women can do that. I think some women can do that, but that's more so a masculine thing that you're talking about, dating multiple men. And like this lady here in this letter, she's having her feelings involved in it.
Yeah.
So that's what's drawing her back. And ultimately it will eat you up, and it will make it very hard for you to date multiple people. So yeah. I don't think women are hardwired to date multiple people. It can happen, but what does that look like in the end if a man really is trying to pursue her and he knows that she's dating other guys? It may not, that may be very hard for her, but you know what? It comes down to proposal day. If that man wants to get down on one knee and ask her to marry, then that would be the answer there, but
I honestly think as a woman, that is tough. But as a woman, I would have that safety net of not disclosing that. So
then you're not being honest.
Well, I mean, if they ask, that's if they ask. If he don't ask, don't say nothing. Like not yet, at least, not yet.
But what if
not yet? Because that's just for that reasoning. Just for that reasoning, I wouldn't do it so soon. And then also too. With her getting her feelings involved, like you were saying, that's in a very emotional thing, which is a great thing. So, and I think that's why women, we aren't, like you said, wired for that. I kind of digress, but I just didn't want to forget that.
I'm real big on honesty. So say for instance, we were dating and then we got engaged. And I asked, well, were you dating multiple people before we got it? Well, by that time, it wouldn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't matter. And then honestly, for a man, just on me knowing men and me knowing you and like just men and how a masculine man thinks, in a way, yes, it would make him competitive if he's really interested. It would, if he is really interested. But you're talking about nowadays where, like you said, the guy has maybe 8 other or 7 other women on his, dating app, for example, that he's talking to.
Yeah, he would dismiss her.
Right.
Before he gets that deeply involved into who she is.
Yep. It would just make it hard.
I know that for a fact. He would keep her on a long pole,
Right.
Keep her
so
away.
I would, me personally, I wouldn't. And it's not about being dishonest. It's just about playing the cards right, timing. Like, drop a. I don't play cards, so I can't even make a reference. I need to start playing cards so I can use a card reference one day. But like you just don't play certain cards, and your timing matters when you do things because you don't want to mess up when you could have, not had to use that card. Maybe you don't really care.
So I guess that answers the questions, lady. So if the guy asks you why you all are dating, so just lie.
Lie. I didn't say that.
You sure
you ran with that.
I mean, that's what you're saying.
No, I said if he didn't ask, if nobody
but what
asked,
if he does ask though?
and if he
This
does,
is the second date that we've been on. You're actually talking to somebody else, and then I would say, "Hey, are you talking to anybody else?" By the way,
gracefully say I have been weighing my options, but you so far have been a great catch. Direct the attention back on him.
What does weighing your options mean? I would ask that.
Weighing your options. We're fairly new.
No,
you said second date. We're fairly new.
Then this is when I would get up and leave. Because now you're not cooperating. You're not answering any of my questions. So
that's not cooperation.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But no, I mean, yeah, but that's what happened. That's what you're gonna get. I wanted to make that example for guys to see that and see what would happen if you ask a lady on a date. You're dating multiple people, what her answer is, and then that's up to you to like it or not. Because more than likely, I wouldn't like that.
Exactly.
And I would be like, well, this has been good.
So it is one of those moments where you would have to try to lie your way out of, or nicely. I wouldn't say lie, because even though you said you gotta lie, but
if you get to the point of being close to engagement, and then he brings it up and say, did you lie about dating multiple people? You'd be like, yeah, this, but we're getting married anyway. Like, no, like that's trust issues then.
No, the woman has to, when you go about dating multiple people, we're going to get into this. I was going to get into this later, but since you brought it up, when you go into dating multiple people, the process of elimination should happen fairly quickly, especially if it's a guy that you're interested in. Right. So in her case, the lady that wrote
in the beginning, just keep it moving.
Exactly. That's that
cut
process
him loose and
of
keep it moving, so you don't have to be confronted with those questions of whether are you dating multiple people,
right?
Because if you get stuck in that question and you actually are, then you're going to be caught in a lie,
right?
But you can also keep, if the person in front of you is somebody who you really like and you are dating multiple people, then I would say go ahead and lie for that day and then cut that person off and be like, look, this ain't gonna work. I don't want to keep lying to this guy that I met, and you're not cutting it for real, so I'm gonna just let you go. Right. Just do that. Do that and be honest, and then next time if he asks you again, then you were really honest about if you're dating other people or not. So yeah, that's the way to handle that. No, but I mean, that's a real life situation, and people need to know how to move through that, because you don't want to keep lying your way, because once you tell one lie, you keep telling other lies, and whatever the case may be. Yeah. So especially if you're dating other people and then the new person that you're talking to, you all make a connection and a bond, and he's trying to call you or text you, but then you got caught up with the first guy you've been dealing with. Yeah. You're at the movies and you're not answering or responding, you're going to lose that guy anyway. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, yeah, I totally understand that. And I think that is important to consider, because you do want to start your relationship on an honest, if this is going to turn into a relationship, you want to be honest from the jump. So I totally agree. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Process of elimination.
For men too. I mean, the thing is that men are more so, we're going to tell you the truth. That I'm talking to multiple women, and then we're not going to really care because we have options,
Yeah, to be honest, with our relationship, I never asked you that because I never really cared. Because at the end of the day, and that's what it's different for a woman.
You assume.
Right? Yeah, I assume it and keep it moving, because if I want you, I want you. I'm gonna keep,
Right, and that's what's happening to my friends too who are dating. Is that women are asking them, I know you're talking to somebody else. And then,
no, I never said that neither. And that's another thing to me, that in a way reeks of insecurity, because you're addressing too much your competition in a way. Like, and that really doesn't matter. If the guy is interested in you and he wants to be with you and you're spending your time with him, don't ruin it by bringing in whatever he's doing when he's not with you. Enjoy that moment that you guys are together now. That's going to be really important to you building that solid relationship.
Right, because like I said before, the dating stage of relationships are an audition for marriage. Yeah. So, those boyfriend-girlfriend relationships are really auditions for marriage. You want to make the best out of it so that you can win that man or that woman's hand in marriage. And you all can get over those challenges of trying to get married. Right. Get there. You need to get there first. But yes, yep. So those are your audition situations.
Well, back to the pros. Of course, a pro we kind of hit on is you can avoid getting attached too quickly if you date multiple people, obviously. But I kind of thought about the girl that wrote the letter and just the fact that she acknowledged that she was emotional, and the whole aspect of being emotional is a beautiful thing. And I don't think that's something that as a woman you should try to dial back in a way by
Mm-mm.
not getting attached. In a way, to me, that diminishes your ability to attach to a man. So by not dating, well, by dating, choosing to date multiple people, and choosing to not get attached too quickly, it, as a woman, I really think that can hinder you. But it really, I guess, helps with the whole aspect of process of elimination. If a guy comes along and he's not the one for you, you can up and whoop, move to the next one. And dating multiple people can help you avoid getting your feelings hurt, or getting too involved or falling too quick if that guy isn't really serious. So yeah.
Right. And then men fall in love quick too. Like guys who are really
Oh,
interested in a female, and
yeah.
they're just, they're just smitten with the way she looks. And then if you can couple that with her having wife qualities too, like it's hard.
Yeah.
A good woman is a hard defense for a guy, for a man, for a man.
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
good woman in her feminine form, and if she's exuding wife-like qualities, it's
Yeah.
hard for us to say no to you, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Yes.
And if we are, then we're not a good man. To be honest with you,
Right.
we're still a boy who's playing games out here and just can't get right. But
Right. Right.
yep,
Yeah. Another one is you could experience more fun. And I say this with the a caution of, like we mentioned before, being cautious, but you can certainly have more fun in the aspect of lots of new dates, lots of meeting new people. Your dates could be, you could have a new date every week if you're that adventurous, but it just gives you the opportunity of going out and experiencing more things if you're choosing to date multiple people at once. But of course, that certainly errs on the side of being cautious, because
right.
dating doesn't mean sexual intercourse or any of all that extra stuff that makes it risky.
I want to add this: not in the same city. Don't date the
Really? You think?
same. No, don't do it, because what's going to happen is that you're going to run into the person that you're dating, the other person. If you're in a small town, especially college campuses, things of that nature, if you're dating on college campuses,
They do that all the
you're playing
time,
a
don't they?
dangerous game.
Yeah.
If you're, they do it all the time. If you're dating
Yeah.
within the same city,
Yeah.
you're playing a dangerous game there too. So be careful, because you're one date away from having a brick thrown through your window,
Oh gosh. Or your car
or
keys.
car scratched up,
Uh-uh.
or whatever the case may be.
Who is that?
Right.
Just because
It's a
somebody
dangerous
seen your...
game. I'm just being honest, because those things happen.
Yeah.
Those things happen all the time. And then you're just dating. Oh my goodness. Like,
Yeah.
people, women feelings get involved, especially when they think they found the guy that they really are head over heels about, and they realize that it ain't the same way. I mean,
Yeah.
it happens. It really does happen. So, that's
Yeah.
just I just had to drop that jewel and throw that out there to
That's
make
funny
sure
to
that,
think when you said an experience, that part for the fun part, because that is
yeah, because
certainly...
that fun can turn into something else in the parking lot.
Yeah.
You finding out that other person you had dated, you're dating, is also out there in the parking lot, or whatever,
Tough.
waiting for you because they know where you at, and
Tough. Yeah.
or just saw you from somewhere. Yeah, but I've witnessed this multiple times in my life so far, is that seeing people who were dating, and they get caught up. They get
Yeah.
caught up. I've seen this when I was young, when I was a child. Yeah, it's don't do it. Don't date the same people within 30-mile radius, or try to go out 50 or 60 miles. It's the best bet, I'm telling you.
Broaden your horizons.
Yeah. So don't
That's
get,
funny.
okay.
Something certainly to consider. Another pro, in a way, is that you can learn more about yourself from dating multiple people and having different interactions with these men or women. Often those different conversations that you have with different people will open up new things that you will learn about yourself based off of these experiences. So you'll also get to learn what you want in a spouse quicker from seeing what's out there. Kind of like what you mentioned about men feeling like, a lot of women aren't exuding wife qualities. And certainly by dating a lot of women that aren't exuding that, you'll certainly know
Right.
that's not what I want.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, working men like home cooked meals. You know, so women, if you're trying to get a husband, like, learn to cook, to be honest with you.
Well, that's a certainly given,
but a lot of men know how to cook
being
too, though.
kind,
So
I think, is a
yeah,
big one
being
now.
kind and knowing how to cook, that's a great way to
Yeah.
keep, you know, to get closer to a man, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, because a lot of these single men, they love women who can cook.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because how you interact with different people in general will really just show what kind of relationships you're drawn to. So also too, it'll show you your patterns of dating. So if you're constantly dating women or men that aren't any good for you or don't exude what you're looking for, then that could actually just reveal about yourself that, hey, I'm probably not picking these people for the right reasons, or I'm commonly dismissing red flags when I should be recognizing these things. So it will really just help you in the long run be overall have a higher perspective of kind of like what you're doing and, you know, how you're moving about your dating scene. So
right. Because people like what they like, and often at times, a lot of times when people like something, it's not good for you. You know, think about foods that we eat, you know, things that alcohol we drink, or whatever the case may be. We love, you know, snack foods and things like that, and they're not good for us. High sugary drinks, sodas, and things like that. Same thing with people. You know, some people are not good for you, but you love them anyway, and
you keep it around.
You keep them around, and then all of a sudden bad things starting to happen, and it's because you're choosing wrong.
Yeah.
So like my wife said, don't be naive to those red flags, because especially if you have a pattern of dating and you keep dating these same type of people, it's not them, it's you. In that moment in time, you have to be honest with yourself and take a full accountability of your actions and realize that, hey, I need to actually make grown-up decisions and stop dating boys and actually date men who are providers and are looking for relationships.
Yep, that is super true. And ultimately, the fifth pro that we came up with is that it helps you to be more selective. Going right into what you're talking about, you can actually see, hey, these are the women or men that I am looking for. So I'm going to keep picking more women like this, or, you know, whatever the case may be, or not picking women like that. You know, it just overall helps you to be selective on who's right for you and who's not right for you, because that's super important, because you want to find a spouse who you know that you can spend the rest of your life with and you'll be comfortable with that. Of course, we're not saying expect perfection. A lot of times who you could attract is often a reflection of where you're at, right, in your life and what you're actually ready for. And the beautiful thing about that is that could show that you guys could grow together. And that's a wonderful opportunity if you're open to being able to grow with your spouse, because that's ultimately what a relationship helps you to do. You mirror back those things that you need to work on so that then you can work on them and become a whole new, better person for not only your relationship, but yourself as well.
Right, because everyone is not perfect.
Right.
So don't try to find that perfect person
right
out there. You need to find the best person
for you.
Yeah.
Not
best
the person you can work with.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody you can cooperate with.
Yeah, the flaws you can accept. The ones that you're like, that's not too bad. Like, I'll deal with that. I'll take that over that any day, right? That's really what it's about. Yeah.
I mean, but some people pick some horrible people.
Yeah.
You know, like, I ain't gonna talk about it, but but yeah, just know what your worth is, and
certainly
find someone who can complement that and work with them. Yep. So cons. We're gonna talk about cons now. It can be also dating multiple people. It can be time consuming. Yes, it can. So dating multiple people, it will take up a lot of your time. You'll have to schedule dates. You need a calendar. Luckily, phones now have calendars. And if you don't have a calendar on your phone, you need to invest in a calendar of some sort. And you need to make time for these people. And you need to figure out their lifestyles and yours to try to figure out what they like to do.
Yes.
But it's ultimately it's going to drive you nuts trying to date multiple people and trying to figure out. And please don't confuse names because that's a dead giveaway that you're dating multiple people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that
you
can
know,
be hard if you already got a busy life,
right. Yeah.
especially a man on his purpose. If your men, y'all got to consider that if you're on your purpose and you're really doing your thing, is dating multiple
Right.
women easy?
And then you gotta think of you're gonna need a diary or some sort of journal to write down the notes on these people so that you don't get them mixed up.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
because you don't
That's
want to
true.
call, one girl and say, hey, you're the one that drives the, blue car, right? And then she's like, no, my car's red. And you were like, oh man, it'll be easier if you could date
Yeah.
all females with the same name,
Yeah.
or women, you could date the man with the same name, but what are the odds of that?
Yeah. I have heard it,
Yeah, that happened.
happen, but that's also kind of weird. Isn't that kind of creepy? I don't know what y'all think. I think
Dating the
that's a
same
little,
people.
or not the same people,
I mean,
but
the
the
same
same
name,
name. Like that's kind of
like all three Michaels. That makes it easy. That makes it a lot easier. You just got to remember what they like to do and what their hobbies are, and just remember what they tell you. You got to have a good memory.
Yeah.
If you're dating multiple people and you're not trying to chase any of them away,
They got to look
at the
different.
moment.
They at least got to look like distinctly different. I think that would help.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, oh, that's my. Let me not, because I don't want to sound right. Not what's it called? Like prejudice, yeah. But when you're like, oh, my Asian guy, my white guy, my black guy, all Michaels though. So, but the distinct
difference.
Asian Michael like noodles and just silly like that. But yeah, yep, certainly time consuming. So another one, it can be emotionally draining dating multiple people, obviously, because you're taking in and exerting yourself so much just to build a relationship, which ultimately isn't going to amount in too much because the energy that you're spreading out is kind of so thin. It's not like a whole bunch of energy going into one guy or one woman.
Yeah, you invest a little bit into every all of them.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have enough energy and emotions to tie yourself up in all these people. But you see, that's what happens is that in these type of situations, it may look like to that person you're dating that you really don't care much about them.
Right. Yeah. Because you're drained. Yeah.
Because you don't have enough, love to go around.
Right. Yeah. you got enough just to get you there.
Right.
I'm here. I showed up. Like, that's all I got. Like, that sucks. Like, you really got to think about the perspective of the energy wise, how much you're giving to the relationship. Because also, too, for yourself, you can feel confused and conflicted if you're like dating multiple people and you don't know like where to go. Like, it can drain your energy just trying to figure out like, man, I really like this guy, but I really like that guy, but I really like that. It's that can really be hard on you mentally, and emotionally. So just really consider if that's something you want to take on.
Right. It can be difficult to find someone who is okay with it.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about before. And I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah.
So not everyone is okay with you dating multiple people. They're not.
Right.
They're just not. Some people may be fine with that and they don't mind competing for you.
Right.
That is a good way to find out whether this person is all in about you or not. It's just a coin toss. So,
yeah.
But also, like I said, if you're being truthful, you're being honest, that person is really going to appreciate that in you because you are actually a truthful person.
Yeah.
That is one of the building blocks and foundations for a long-lasting marriage is loyalty, truthfulness.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're being truthful and transparent about your situation and things like that with the opposite sex, then they may actually stick around and see how far this may actually go.
Yeah.
So, you just don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I still stand, how we already talked on it, but women, weigh that option. If you're uncomfortable having that conversation about, am I dating multiple people, then, don't set yourself up to have that conversation because that, put you on the spot. I ain't even dating multiple people and I was felt on the spot. Like
this reminds me of like those TV shows like The Bachelor or the Bachelorette type thing where you already know they're dating multiple people. There's only one woman here and it's like 100 guys. So, it is what it is. That's a good example of it, though. You see it.
Yep, because number 4, another con is that it can lead to jealousy and insecurity in your relationship before it has even gotten started. And that can be really hard to get rid of, especially kind of like we talked about a little bit before, if you're already dealing with some type of insecurities, it can just pile them on. For example, if this woman found out that the guys that she was talking to were also talking to other women, that can make her internally feel insecure and jealous and just all of that. And then
It's a
you're
dangerous
questioning.
game.
Yeah, it's tough. And it opens up a can of worms before you even get off onto a good start. So something to consider.
Yeah, jealousy and insecurity. Yep. Yeah, it's dangerous. I talked about it before. That leads to windows being broken and property being damaged
Yeah.
and things like that. So you need to be. That's why I say it's always safe to be transparent. It
Yeah.
helps to cut all that stuff out. People leave or whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
but then then that problem is gone. You're no
Right.
longer stringing this person along and thinking they're
Right.
the only person. But transparency is key. That
Right.
it is.
Yep.
And number 5, it can be complicated to end things. Yes, it can be very complicated to end things. That's why I said establish this in the beginning. Let them know that, hey, you're not the only person that I'm talking to. Men, please tell women this. Don't string them along and have their emotions invested in the relationship. And they're talking to you for about 3 months now, and they're thinking they're the only one.
Yeah.
Let them know from day one that, hey, I'm already entertaining about 3 to 5 other women.
Right.
If you want to be considered, then by all means, that's your choice. I will date you and try to give you as much time as possible, or whatever the case may be. But just a full disclosure, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
But if you're dating multiple people and you decide to end one of the relationships, it can be complicated. So
Yeah.
just be prepared for that, and then know that you have to eventually break it up with that person. So that there's going to be feelings involved, tears maybe. I would do this through a phone call. To be honest with you, call that person up, let them know that, hey, it's not going to work out. Especially if you're dating multiple people, try to avoid doing it in person, in public. Do it in a safe space over the phone. I wouldn't do text messages because that's kind of cowardly, to be honest with you. But tell them over the phone, like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I'm actually talking about to 3 to 5 other women, and I can't do this with you because I don't have any more time for them. So, or whatever the case may be. So you want to be be cautious of the other person's feelings when it comes to that decision making, and let them know over the phone. That would be the best thing. Best thing to do. If you can't do over the phone, like I said, email or text that person and let them know that, hey, I think that what we're doing is not going to work out. I appreciated your time, and you're a beautiful person. Thank you. Like that guy that wrote the girl the letter. You remember the guy that wrote the girl the letter? He wrote the letter to her after they were dating for like 2 weeks. He flew out to her. She met her with a friend. She met him with her girlfriend out in the street.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
They slept together, and then he wrote her a letter.
After the end,
left her a letter and was like, I never intended on dating you a long distance relationship. That's tough. You should have said that in the beginning, guy. But yeah, so you need to be
just know you have to break up with the person. Yeah, so be mindful that if you're getting into this relationships and you're nervous about doing something like that,
and do it sooner than later, please. Like I said, don't string these people along thinking that, oh, we've been doing this for about a year now, 2 years now. This is good. So what's next? Oh, a breakup. What? What happened? You done invested 2 years worth of time, money, and emotions into this relationship and energy, and all of a sudden it's over because you didn't have the guts enough to let the girl know or the guy know that I was dating other people, and then you came in last place. So
yeah, cold world.
I'm glad I'm not in the dating game out there. It is tough. I heard it is it's brutal out there, especially with the economy and how things go. Especially and then one other thing we didn't put up here, a con is it's expensive. Dating is expensive. Don't live in New York or LA dating, and you're making a living wage.
Courting 4 or 5 different women.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
You don't have enough money to pay your lights and feed
You better
yourself.
walk them all through the same park. You got your park route. That's what you said. Don't do that.
Oh no, yeah, don't date local.
See me, I probably fail at it because I've been at the same route, run them off just to be familiar. But that's bad. Like that's not really making it unique to the experience. I don't know.
Yeah, but
See,
yeah,
that
that's
ain't
another.
for me. Cause I've been.
That's another con is that it's expensive. Dating is
Yeah.
expensive now in these times, and it's not of the faint of heart, from what
Yeah,
I've
certainly,
understand
yeah.
out here. So it is colder out here when it comes to dating, but it can be done. You can find that person if you take these words of advice from us.
Yeah.
We've given you a blueprint tonight on dating multiple people.
I
I don't think this has ever been done. To be honest with you, I've never seen anything like this. Dating multiple people, someone giving advice about how to date other people, multiple
doing
people.
the pros and the cons. I think this is good because it's a conversation. Because a lot of people that go back and watch these videos later on will actually have this to be able to use as a reference of like the things that will help you and then the things that you probably shouldn't do.
Even our children too, when they grow up, we don't necessarily have to tell them. We're like, here, son, watch this episode.
Oh, that's so bad. Now
this will answer your question. So
I wouldn't do that. No. I like that. That's a personal part of it with the kids, to actually be able to sit down and really go through it with them, like and
about their
experience it with
situations
them.
and growing up, and
the
boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, son, that relationship is not going. Your middle school relationship is going nowhere.
Yeah,
there's no marriage involved there. But
that's when the young guys, I guess, they date multiple girls in that time, or they're like, I don't know if girls. Do too. I don't know. I didn't really. I had that.
I mean,
boyfriend.
You see that a lot. Like I said, you see that a lot in like 20-some-year-old people, college campuses, things like that.
Yeah.
Because usually when you get in the working field, it's harder for you to date multiple people because 8 hours out the day you're actually
busy,
working.
Yeah.
So it's harder. Like they said, after college, college is where you're around multiple people, and it really gets less and less. And now that we're teleworking at home. You're never around the opposite sex or any other person unless you go to the grocery store or go out and go to a bar or something, or with your friends.
Yeah.
So it's dating now is harder and harder, and that's the reason why a lot of people are using dating websites and they're going nowhere with those.
Yeah, because it doesn't give you that personal experience, like of really connecting with the person.
That's the reason why you're supposed to go out and date and physically meet these people too. So
yeah, but keep in mind though, we are still coming out of the COVID adjustment of everybody back in the public, and then like teleworking when people are still teleworking and stuff. That's why a lot of people are actually against the whole teleworking thing, because it takes people in particular that are single, takes them out of the world when they really do need to be in the world and networking and talking and meeting people.
Because that's what I was told too, is that the next place that college people, when they graduate college, the next place where they do find a husband or a wife is on their jobs, believe it or not. That's where most people.
Because not that you're at home.
Right, because you're mostly at work most of the time.
Right, if you're not. Yeah.
Now in this telework economy that we live in, we're not around those people either. So I mean, but if you learn to know colleagues when you do go to work, you can still email them and call them, get their phone numbers, and
it's still not the same. Like
you can have a telework. You can have a telework date. Yeah, you can work at that person's house. Hey, can we telework date? That's a new thing. I came up with that. So telework date.
Lunch break.
So you could do your lunch breaks at the house with the girl you want to date. You could date her while she's working, and she can date you while you work. And that's a pro to it. We figured it out.
How is that a pro? That's a workaround.
Yeah, it's a workaround to teleworking. It's actually do some telework dates to see how far you get with those. I bet you'd probably be more productive than working by yourself. To be honest with you.
Maybe so. Hey, I mean, this is true. Y'all gotta try things, and really, we're trying to help y'all make families. Ultimately, make families, making relationships, building relationships is what keep people happy, honestly, throughout their lifetime. So we're trying to help with that. That's all.
Yep. So we've given you all enough for the night. No more jewels that we're going to drop. It is Marriage Fit Friday. You made it to the end of the week. So go ahead and enjoy yourself. Go ahead and grab a glass. Cheers.
Thank you for hanging on with us.
Yep. And then until next time, Blueprint family, please like and subscribe And if you know anybody who can use this information, please share it with them. Share our videos.
Yeah.
And so until next time, you all have a wonderful weekend. Peace.
Peace. Let me hit this.